talk about Dale Jr. Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest editor-in-chief of Speedway Digest, our official NASCAR contributor. We won't keep you long, Steve, because I know you were up really late. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to come and join us, and we'll get into our college football kickoff, but which I know that we'll probably talk about your Seminoles as well. But, Steve, good morning. Welcome to The Balance. I wish that we had some – I mean, it is positive news. I don't mean like tragic that he died, but an incredible event with Dale Jr. Tell us what we know, Steve.
Well, at this point, the only thing that we know is that there was some type of failure on landing. The NTSB and FAA are looking into this over the last day or so. They've taken and they're tearing the wreckage down, and they're going to move it to Georgia, where they're going to conduct more thorough testing on it. So right now we're just kind of in a holding pattern, other than the fact that we do know that there's at least some kind of failure that did occur. There was some kind of skepticism on the type of plane that they flew in on, whether it was had the ability to land on the particular airport that it did land on in Elizabethton just 2 days ago. Earlier, I believe it was earlier this year or late last year, they had extended the runway there another about 500 to 750 feet, which would have given it the capacity to land that type of airplane onto it. So, they don't think that the pilot or anybody went to an airport where they were thinking that they were not going to be able to make that landing. So, that was kind of a newer addition to that airport, which allowed some of these bigger planes and jets to start landing there. But aside from that, Dale Jr., Amy, and everybody else was able to get off the plane. I'm sure some people have probably seen the video out there where the plane was becoming fully engulfed, and people ran down the runway, as well as people that were local on the road, and people that were around the airport went down there and helped them get off the airplane. So they're all safe. They were checked out, and they've all went back home at this point, and Dale will miss tonight's race at Bristol.
Bristol's a big race, and I don't want to minimize this, but this is a big story. And watching the press conferences, they basically said that when it landed on this is a private airport, if you will. It's not a public airport, like you see around whatever, Atlanta, Indianapolis, pick your city. This is a private airport. This is very common around cities where smaller jets can land. There is no tower control, if you will, there, but they do rely on tower controls from other airports to give them some clearance. So basically what happened is it bounced a couple times, and it went through a fence. They said, had that fence wire caught a different way, we might be talking about something different. Riggin is going to help us kick off a college football segment here. We're going to get to that here in just a second. But, Rick, I appreciate your service. I know you are an Air Force veteran. What do you know about aircrafts and what we've seen and what's going on as far as – I'm not relying on you to be an expert, but you certainly know a little bit about planes with your time in the Air Force. What are your thoughts when you see something like this with Dale Jr.?
Well, I'm interested to see what the investigation is going to turn up, and these investigations take a really long time. I mean, it's going to be months to possibly a year or so before we actually get some kind of an answer out of what happened. But I do know, being a jet engine mechanic, that 95% of the time when something like this happens, it's a pilot error and not mechanical. But the way things are looking, this is on a landing. There could have been a landing gear malfunction. Something malfunctioned here. But I just know, working on these things, with my time in the Air Force, that over 90% of the time it is something that's a pilot error.
Matthew, we'll go back to you real quickly, and then we'll get a preview at Bristol, and then we'll get into our college football talk. But, Matthew, what are your thoughts about when something like this happens? And we listened to what Rick just said. It was pilot error. Humans are going to be humans. They're going to have errors. And based on the press conferences that I heard, they don't suspect that was any type of foul play. But if you're a pilot and you're carrying, we'll just say precious cargo like Dale Jr., his wife and daughter and dog, you would think that maybe you would have the best of the best pilots doing that.
Well, this stuff happens. The only thing, like I said earlier, is that everyone's okay. That's the only concern right now that's in my book right now at this point, and there is no serious alterations in Junior's life where he suffered serious injury to possibly where he can't function or can't walk or anything like that. So that's the good news we take from this at this point. I don't think there's any need for criticism or anything like that this early, because like Rick said, we really don't know at this point what really happened as far as what caused this incident.
Well, let's wrap it up and put a bow on it. But before we do, Steve, I want to just borrow you for just a couple more seconds here. I know that you are taking some time because you were up late last night with the Xfinity race. But break down Bristol for us. The gloves come off. This is it. This is the deal. If you guys want to see some bumping and grinding, some racing, some cussing, some fighting, it's all going to happen at Bristol tonight. What are your thoughts, Steve? Just give us a quick preview and we'll let you go.
Oh, I think it's just going to be our typical Bristol that we've seen in the past. We've already saw it. Started off on Thursday night with some fights in the infield. There was some beating and banging and crafting and freezing out there. And I think we'll just continue that on straight on through tonight. There's 500 laps. There's bound to be people that at the end of the night or at some point in those 500 laps where they're going to feel that they've just had enough and they're going to put somebody in the wall. They're going to get up on that bumper and they're going to turn them. And I think that, it's not necessarily we're always going to see it out of the front runners, but it may be a front runner like Kyle Busch that has a knack for this place. And if he can't get around you, he's gonna drive through you, under you, over you, in any way that he can get around you to move you out of the way. And we have to look back just to Watkins Glen just a couple of weeks ago with Bob Wallace, Jimmy Johnson, and others that were in that race. They were beating and banging. And, Bristol is one of those perfect places where, you've been wronged over the last couple of weeks. They can come into Bristol. They can get up on you. They can turn you. They can put you into the wall. And it's just, there's not that worry of, a high-speed action where, somebody may get injured or something like that. But it is a place that you can get some payback at. The bottom groove seems to be the predominant groove where it's going to continue to be the predominant groove all weekend long. I know SMI has gone in and cleaned up the top groove to try and get some of that old tire, some of the old dirt and things that have been accumulating for years to try and get the rubber to go in a little bit more and try and move these drivers up a little bit more on the track. Drivers have complained about that they went and did work in the racetrack. But overall, we're going to continue to see the dominant groove be on the bottom tonight for all 500 laps around Bristol.
Well, we're going to see what happens. The action is completely if you like action, if you like racing, if you like all the bump and grind, it's going to happen tonight at Bristol, Tennessee. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to Dale Jr. Steve Wilson, we appreciate you joining us. Any quick outlook as we jump into our college football kickoff on your Florida State Seminoles, sorry.
Well, I hope some of these recruits that they've picked up over the summer and the last couple of weeks are going to be able to turn around the season. Otherwise, I think that if we see what we did last year, Willie Taggart is going to be in trouble at the end of this year.
All right. Well, Rick, we'll get your thoughts on that here in just a second. And Steve, we appreciate you joining us, and thanks for taking time to come on and talk with us about this really big story. And we're so glad that we're not talking about something different with one of the greatest NASCAR drivers or stock car drivers. Obviously, the son of the late and great Dale Sr., Dale Jr. in this horrific plane crash that could have turned out a lot worse. I appreciate your time, and get some rest there, Steve.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Steve Wilson, Speedway Digest, joins us. Check him out at speedwaydigest.com. Guys, it's time to kick off our college football year. Our official college football contributor, Rick Riggin, joins us, and Matthew Embry, WSBT up in South Bend, is going to take off his racing hat and put on his college football hat. Going to talk some Notre Dame football. We'll kick that off just because we know that that's dear to the heart of both Matthew and Rick. We'll be right back right here on the Balance Radio Network. It's time to start talking football tonight. I just want to take you away. Blow your hands up in the sky. Let's make this party alright. Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
When you don't go to geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know.
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
When you don't go to geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
All right, welcome back to the Bells. It's time to kick off our annual college football talk. We've been waiting for it. Of course, coming up in the next hour is our mock draft. Adam Jividan, super fan of the Cleveland Browns, is going to be joining us. Rick's going to stick around. And Ed Kracz, beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles, is going to help us break down our picks from both the collegiate and the pro NFL level. But let's start with you, Rick, because you are our official college football contributor. You're also a Notre Dame guru. Matthew Embry, also WSBT up in South Bend, works for the flagship station that covers the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So we'll start with you. And Matt, I told Rick last week what you said, and he kind of agreed that Notre Dame was highly overrated. Rick Riggin, kick us off.
Yeah, I think overrated might be a little bit of a strong word, but I do think there might be overranked at this point, preseason going in. They just lost so much. And look at the away games this year. It's not even just the away games at Michigan, at Georgia. But, Matt, you can help me out on this. I think 5 or 6 of their toughest tests, the teams they're playing against, have a bye week before they play the Irish. And that's going to be tough on the Irish this year.
7 of them.
7. Yeah, so that's even worse.
Matthew, you're right there in the thick of it all. You work for the flagship station of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Radio Network. Obviously, you're in the mix. Your ears are to the ground there in South Bend. Tell us what you know.
Well, it's obviously a funky start to the season. I mean, you have that Labor Day Monday game against Louisville at 5 o'clock on Monday, so it'll be interesting to see how they get up for that one, especially against the Louisville team that's trying to bounce back from a